But then now everyone's on board. Okay, everyone's on board. We have a system, we have a method. But like I said, all the hard work that you put into it, all the hours to get a system going, to try to protect yourself, at the end of the day, that doesn't matter because the employees don't have to prove anything. And that's the scariest part.
Welcome to the California Labor Law Odyssey. My name is Tom Manzo, and I'm the president of the California Business and Industrial Alliance. We're a nonprofit organization that was formed to bring awareness to the widespread abuse of the Private Attorneys General Act, better known as PAGA. PAGA was signed into law by Governor Gray Davis back in 2004, and since has been used to extract hundreds of millions of dollars from California's businesses under the virtuous banner of employee advocacy. What people don't realize is that those millions of dollars never went to the employees. It went to the shark lawyers and to the state of California. These sharks aren't recovering lost wages. They're looking for small mistakes they can build up into a class action lawsuit. You see, attorneys' fees are protected under the Private Attorneys General Act, so they can charge whatever they want, but they only get paid if there's a settlement. Their end game is always a big settlement, never a trial. This is not justice, and we're here to expose it. So today we welcome Ariana Flores from Mr. Clean, and we appreciate you coming on the show. She's a human resource professional, so it's going to really help us give a perspective on what somebody in human resources has to deal with in today's environment. So welcome to the show, Ariana.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. Good morning. Like Tom said, my name is Ariana Flores. I'm the HR manager here at Mr. Clean Maintenance Systems. We are a maintenance janitorial company, and we've been in business for 40 years, since 1980. That's a long time.
How long have you been with the company?
I've been here for 15 years.
Did you start when you were 10 years old?
When I was 8. No, I was 21 when I started, but yeah, I've been here for 15 years, and I love the company. The people are great. I've learned a lot from working with different people in operations, different departments, and with communicating with the employees and meeting them in person and in meetings. It's been really great.
How many employees are there at Mr. Clean?
We currently have around 300 employees that work throughout California.
Okay. So is there only one office?
We currently have 2 offices. Our corporate office is here in Bloomington, California. And then we also have an office in Sacramento.
Okay.
We have a lot of business in Central and Northern California. So we do have an office over there.
Okay. So how many customers do you have?
We currently have around 150 to 200 customers. We actually do the janitorial work for major grocery companies like Save Mart, Food Max. We do the cleaning at their stores.
Well, God bless you for that. I know that's been, crazy times going on right now.
Especially right now.
Yeah, especially right now. And, they definitely need clean stores where we're getting all our food from.
Yeah, and I'm so appreciative of all of our employees because they're the reason I still have a job. They're the reason that Mr. Clean is still here, because they're the ones that are out there doing the store, building a good reputation for us. And they've been doing that for, since 1980. So I'm very grateful for them.
Yeah. What was your first job when you came to work there in 21?
I started as a receptionist. And then from there, I always wanted to be hands-on and learn new things, so I started helping the payroll department. Whatever they didn't want to do, I would do it. I'm like, let me file for you. Let me do this. Let me do that. So then I went to payroll. I worked there for many years, went to operations, back to payroll, and then since 2015, I've been doing HR.
Do you have anybody that helps you in this particular role, or?
No, I don't. It's a challenge, especially. It's especially a big challenge because our employees work alone, and that's that's my biggest challenge, and that, you know, we've had that issue since day one. Although our employees work at our customer sites and our customers or employees are working there, we only have one employee per store. And that's a challenge that makes us vulnerable to many things, because we're not there with our employees monitoring what they do, you know, making sure that they're working safely and all that. We train them, we have ongoing training, we're big on safety, and, you know, we push all that, but it's very hard because we're not there to see them actually do it.
Do you have a lot of long-term employees?
We do. Yes, we do. We have a lot of employees, like I said, that have been here since day one. And we've had some employees that recently retired from the company last year, actually, and it was hard to see them go because we're a family, you know. So they had been here since I started. So seeing them leave was sad. But, you know, they're enjoying their retired life now.
And you know, unfortunately, it really does seem like a lot of the businesses that are ran more like a family-oriented business, they're more lax on a lot of the rules and the regulations. They try to bend and be more flexible. And unfortunately, that bending and being flexible is a lot of times what gets companies like yours in trouble. I mean, our nonprofit organization has about over 150 members, you know, company members, and a lot of them have been hit and affected by the Private Attorney General Act. And a lot of them were trying to do what they can to run that business like a family.
Absolutely.
I mean, California's Labor Law Digest is 1,100 pages. I don't know how anybody can keep up with that.
Yeah.
The most sophisticated companies that have multiple HR staff, that have in-house counsel, can't keep up with it. So one person that handles 300 employees in that type of business cannot be easy at all.
It's not easy, but, you know, I take pride in going above and beyond for our employees. Since I've been here for so long, I have met a lot of our employees in meetings, or, you know, when I go to stores, we work graveyard shifts. I've gone to those stores to congratulate our employees, if they did something, to give them prizes, just things like that. So all of our employees, if not all of them, are familiar with who I am. And over 95% of our employees are Spanish speaking, so I'm fluent in Spanish. So, you know, I want them to feel comfortable to come to me if there is an issue, to give me an opportunity to do my job and correct anything that needs to be corrected, or answer any questions that they may have. That's what I'm here for. But like I said, the challenging part of it is that all of our employees are remote employees. It's not like we have everyone under a warehouse and we have cameras everywhere, and and I'm walking around talking to everyone, making sure that everyone's, doing what they're supposed to, or the managers are, doing what they're supposed to be doing. That's the challenging part of it. But, I do my best every day, and, we have an open door policy, and if someone has an issue, a question, or if they want to know about benefits, whatever, I'm here.
Yeah, that's wonderful. You look at the Labor Law Digest, there's 14 different wage orders, so different employees fall under those different categories. And a lot of times they pass laws, and some of the laws that are passed really become almost impossible to comply with in certain industries. I mean, and it's almost the thought process going behind it. I understand they're trying to help one set of workers, but in that attempt to help one set of workers, they make it really, really difficult for other companies to manage that, particularly could be in a different industry.
Right.
So apparently how we met, and you're a member, is you're currently involved with a PAGA lawsuit. And I know you can't go into any specifics, so we don't want to push that envelope. But if you would like to briefly give us, what happened and where you're at, some type of a summary, we'd appreciate it. The viewers would like to hear it.
Of course. Yes, we were hit with the PAGA lawsuit. We first became aware of it in March of 2018. So this has been going on for a while. We mediated it in January of 2019. That was an all-day event that we had to go do. The class data submitted to the settlement administered on January 31st of 2020. And the notices were sent out to the employees in February of this year. But this has been, it hit us so hard. That lawsuit, they requested over $2 million. Okay. We settled out of court for over $500,000. And just in legal fees that are still accumulating, we've spent over $120,000. And there is no insurance that we have or that there is to help companies protect this or fight this or cover this. We don't have that. And it's been really hard, especially because we recently lost a major customer that we had with us for over 20 years, and that was a $4 million loss. So we're a small company. We're 300 employees. We're janitors. Our profit margin isn't all that high like other companies. So it really hit us hard. And, we're just vulnerable. We're an easy target, if you want to put it that way, because we have employees working remotely. Our stores that we service, they're far from each other. So, and even though we train our employees and we tell them, take your lunches, take your breaks, work safely, we have ongoing training because it's really important for us to try to prevent this. We're doing everything we can to try to prevent these situations. All it takes is for an employee to say, hey, I couldn't take my break, or I was busy, I felt like I couldn't. And that's all it takes. They don't have to prove anything. And we're not there, like I said, to monitor our employees. So it's been really hard on us. And there is no doubt in my mind that if we got hit with another PAGA lawsuit, we would be out of business. That's a fact. And that would be 300 families that would be left without a job. So it's a scary thought. We're an easy target, and it's just, we operate our business, with our employees' best interest in mind. But like I said, when an employee could just go and make these claims and it turns into a class action lawsuit, companies can't survive that. And if we got hit with another one, we would be out of business.
What was this initial lawsuit for? What started it?
Meal and lunch breaks.
So you've got people everywhere. There's no supervision. Nobody keeps an eye on them. How can you possibly?
Yeah, and we have signed documents from the employees, ongoing training. We have meetings. We talk about this all the time because we need our employees and want our employees to take their lunches and their breaks. We push that a lot, and safety as well. But like I said, when our employees are working there alone and, they take their breaks and then they could turn around and say that they didn't, that's all it takes. And they don't have to prove anything. And that's the scariest part.
How did you feel when all of this happened? Where were you at emotionally when this happened?
It was very stressful. It was very stressful because it just consumes. It consumes you, because you want to separate your work life from your personal life. But when you're so stressed about this, and you're like, okay, what can I pull to prove that we were doing the right thing? What records do we have? And I spent months, working 14 hours just to pull up all these documents to show, hey, that we were doing the right thing. We were in compliance. This is what we did. This employee is claiming this, but we have her signature here that, she was taking her breaks, and all that did not matter.
You've been with the company for a while now, and you've worked your way up, which is great. It's amazing. This is what America is all about.
Mm-hmm.
How about responsibility? Do you feel any responsibility for all of this?
I do, because I think, well, if I would have done this, if I should have done that, but at the end of the day, we were doing everything right. And both my boss and myself, we were like, coulda, shoulda, woulda. But at the end of the day, when we have documents showing that, we were doing things right, But like I said, your 15-minute break, you don't clock that in and out. So how can we prove that that employee took it without, we can't have them clock in their regular break, their lunches, they do clock in and out. But, how can we produce that as something that we can't produce? And that's, so we were trying to figure out ways like how moving forward, how can we do this? And just like breaking our heads trying to prevent this in the future, because like I said, there's no doubt in my mind if this happens again, we're all going to be out of jobs.
Last week, I think I documented that there was 36 notices going out a day. And this is during the whole COVID crisis. We actually sent a letter to the governor and said, hey, could you please just put a moratorium on it while we're getting through all of this? Because, obviously things are really upended right now. And it didn't get recognized. Labor sent a letter, saying that you need this, law more than ever now. And there's about 7,000 notices that go out a year. So most of those turn into some type of a lawsuit. And I think what a lot of people don't realize, good help is really hard to get. It's hard to find good help. Now, yes, everything's changed and the unemployment rate is down. But I mean, prior to COVID, the unemployment rate was less than 4%. You want to keep and retain employees. It costs a lot of money to go through training. Very, very difficult. And I always say 95% of the employers are probably doing everything they can to keep employees and do what's right. But unfortunately, these laws that are passed aren't fair to most of us.
They're not. I agree. We know other companies that are in the same industry, other janitorial companies, and they are in the same boat as us. We have, had meetings with them, and they're in the same boat. They have gone hit with these lawsuits, and they're just kind of, on the same boat. Like I said, if it happens again, they're going to be out of business. And they've been in business around, since 20 years, 30 years, up to 50 years. And that, all that hard work and all that, blood, sweat, and tears, at the end of the day, it won't matter if one of these, when they get hit with one of these, it's, we don't have unlimited resources.
Right.
We can't just, take it to court and see what happens. We cannot do that. We don't have the money to do that, the resources to do that. So it's scary. It's scary.
Yeah, we have, other members that are janitorial companies that have been hit several times. We have a company, a logistics company that got hit 4 times, and people would say, how does that company get hit 4 times? Well, the attorney sued the drivers once, the warehouse workers once, different classifications, office staff once, and back to a driver, which, ended up really not going anywhere, but still cost money because they accused them of not, keeping track of lunches and breaks.
Yeah.
So, I guess we appreciate businesses, business owners, key individuals that work for the company. We appreciate the employees at every level of a company.
Absolutely.
And we really understand, from your perspective, the difficulties of dealing with this on a regular basis. Just not easy.
Right.
If you could talk to a legislator and you could just give them a message, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to look at what this is doing to companies. This is not benefiting anyone. It's causing the economy to not thrive because companies are going to continue to close down because we can't afford this. Look at the impact that it's having on everyone. It's not fair. It's not right. And they don't have to show proof. If a company is doing something wrong, give them the opportunity to fix that. Have them show proof that they fixed it. But, to go from A through Z, and in the middle of all that, you're spending $500,000 or over $1 million, and, in the process of it, even if it's not taken to court, companies will still close down because of it. So, take a look at that, and, let's make things more fair. go about it a different way, because like I said, companies they won't survive this. It's just, they won't.
So for being on the show, I always tell everybody, instead of a PAGA lawsuit, especially in your position and case and what you're doing, they should pin a medal on you. So we have a medal we're going to send you. And
thank you.
it's from our organization, and I mean that because I just, it frustrates me every time I hear these stories, and it's always the same thing, and it's always good people paying the price for the people that aren't doing things correctly.
Right.
And it's so unfortunate. But
it is.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having
and thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for doing everything you've done, and you should be very proud of yourself, working your way up and doing what you're doing now. All of us thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Mr. Clean is an employee-owned company. There's 300 hard-working employees working independently at sites all across the state of California. And everyone has to trust each other's honesty. That's how they work. A small company's owners and managers are not overlords. Everyone's a co-worker with various responsibilities, and their jobs are to coordinate a business so that everyone can earn an honest paycheck. It took one bad apple with just one lawsuit to knock this company to its knees. They had to settle for over $500,000 after being initially threatened with $4 million. That doesn't even include the hundreds of thousands being spent on legal fees, and there's no insurance that covers any of this. Do you think that's fair or reasonable? Labor disputes should be handled by the public servants of the California State Labor Board, not by private attorneys who have no concept of fairness. Who will restore justice in California? Will you?